Hey, my name's Clay. I'm the 737 Cowboy. It's my handle here online. Hey, today I wanted to cover some energy management techniques with the 737. Right now we're coming into runway 4. It'll be a visual approach into LaGuardia. Typically they'll bring people in pretty fast on this approach. Right now I'm coming down. I'm using MCP level automation, so about 1,700 feet a minute will help me to send it 250 knots. And I've selected 210 knots in the speed window because that's what I want the airplane to settle out to prior to us beginning the approach. In the United States, it's pretty common to be actually established on the glide slope at or more than 210 knots, and it can be difficult to merge that with the goal of ending up stable at 1,000 feet using idle thrust, and as well as the minimum flap settings, or the speeds, should I say, to make your next flap selection. So Boeing doesn't really want us using flaps as drag. That's part of the AFM. So today I'm going to show you a great technique to help bring all that together. It's pretty simple. You just add 3,000 feet to your touchdown zone elevation. That really marks where you lower the gear. If you've got a tailwind, which that's also not uncommon in New York, I use 300 feet for every 10 knots. So if you have a 30-knot tailwind, make it a 4,000 feet additive to your touchdown zone. And it should work out that the airplane's stable at 1,000 feet, configured for landing using primarily idle thrust. So right now we're about to intercept a localizer, and we're leveling at 4,000. And the speed's coming back here. Typically when I get cleared for an approach, this is my personal clear for the approach button, the flight path vector. So you may hear a clearance similar to this. Boeing 700, maintain at or above 4,000, cleared ILS runway 4, maintain 210 knots or greater till further advised. Obviously, we're not going to maintain 210 knots all the way to the runway, but we do want to take it as far as we can. And this technique allows us to do that. And again, it works really well. So here I'm going to allow the airplane to get established on the glide path at 210 knots or greater. Conditions are gusty today in LaGuardia. Be using flaps. Actually, I wanted flaps 40. And we have a wind additive of 10 knots today. All right, there's a glide slope intercept. All right, missed approach altitude. I'll set that to 2,000 feet. And again, this right here is your touchdown zone elevation. I set that with the minimum selector in Barrow, and the touchdown zone elevation can be found on the approach plate on the upper right-hand corner, just under airport elevation. Alrighty, so approaching 3,000 feet, I'm going to lower the landing gear. I'm going to set my target speed of 137 knots. And I'm going to try to get the airspeed as close as I can to the up bug before I select flaps 5, which right now it's got a pretty good trend. I'll go ahead and select flaps 5. And again, we're not using the placarded flap speeds. We want to stay away from that as much as possible. We're interested in these minimum flap speeds, okay? So when I get to flaps 5, that's the slowest I can be at flaps 5 before I need to select another flap or a lower flap setting. And this does take some patience. Sometimes it can seem like the airspeed stagnates and comes off really slowly, and that's true. As you get more and more drag out, the airspeed rolls off quicker and quicker. So again, just exercise some patience here, some discipline. All right, approaching the flaps 5 bug. I'm going to go flaps 15. And this is working out really well. Typically, the little signal I use to make my final flap selection on a visual approach is this white bar. You see that growing out right here? That's 1,000 feet above the airport elevation. That's starting to come out of the lower right-hand corner of the PFD, and it just happens to coincide with flaps 15 minimum setting. So let's go with flaps 40 and run our before landing checklist. Our speed brake is armed. We have a green light. Landing gear is down. 3 green. Flaps 40 green light. And here we are, 1,000 feet stable, right on speed. And here I'd be tempted to end the video, being that I fly this in real life. I'll go ahead and take us on down the approach and see if I can't embarrass myself with a nice flight simulator landing. Again, we got gusty conditions today in LaGuardia. It's hazy. I'll go ahead and bring our automation off here. And anytime it's gusty like this, we'll expect some airspeed variation. You don't want to try to chase the airspeed too much. Just maintain your pitch and power. Want to get just a little bit below the glide slope. 3 reds is ideal. That way we can hit our 1,000-foot markers and keep our braking performance valid. We don't want to float too far. If you follow the glide slope to the runway, you're gonna touch down about 1,000 feet past those markers. And that gets dangerous, so don't feel obligated to fly the glide path all the way down. All right, a little bit of power. Now ballooned it a little bit. All right, and we'll make taxiway Quebec here in LaGuardia, just like ATC loves us to. All right, well, I hope you got something out of that. It's kind of fun to make these videos. I'll go ahead and ask you to like this video, and I'll have some more for you in the future. Thanks for watching.